With 24% of Nigeria's population at high climate risk, stakeholders have called for urgent, fair climate financing to support vulnerable regions like Africa. Key stakeholders, including Minister of Environment Balarabe Abbas Lawal, Executive Director of Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, Akimbode Oluwafemi, emphasized that without global cooperation and adequate funding estimated at $250 billion annually for Africa, the fight against climate change will remain inadequate. Here is more on this report.
Nigeria, Africa, and the rest of the global south are bearing the heaviest burden of climate crisis despite their minimal contributions to global emissions. This has remained a source of deep concern, exacerbated by the indifferent stance of major polluters and the global north, who continue to resist accepting historical responsibilities. At the third National Climate Change Conference, themed Channeling Action Towards Just Sustainable Climate Finance, held in Abuja, stakeholders highlighted the pressing challenges Nigeria faces due to climate change. Speaking at the conference, the Honorable Minister of Environment, Balarabe Abbas Lawal, represented by Victoria Pearl, noted Nigeria's high vulnerability to climate change, stating that an estimated 24% of Nigeria's population, approximately 41 million people, live in areas with significant climate exposure. In a keynote address, Nigeria's environmental activist Namo Brasi stressed that to keep global temperature rise below 2 degrees, a significant portion of fossil fuel reserves must remain untapped.
Now, in the middle, if you want to achieve 1.5 degrees temperature increase, it means you have to cut down the use of all those elements to that height you can see there. If you want to keep the 2 degrees, we still have to cut, which means there's no room for expansion of fossil fuel extraction. No room at all. But what I will say in the world today, there's an assault on the deltas, especially in Africa. An assault on Okavango Delta, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Namibia and Botswana. More oil is being extracted, being explored there. We have the Salom Delta in Senegal, where oil and gas is being celebrated, even though the community people are resisting and refusing. We have oil, heavy crude oil being extracted in the Abatan Graben in Uganda, in a nature reserve protected by law. I know some of you will be wondering, how can that be happening when it's being protected by law? In Nigeria today, mining is going on in protected areas. So protection doesn't mean anything anymore in the world. It's about power, it's about finance, it's about who can do, who has the audacity to do whatever they want to do in the world. That's the kind of world we are living in, and that means we need to have a different strategy to tackle the problems we have.
Additionally, Akimbode Oluwafemi, Executive Director of Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, CAPA, emphasized that Nigeria and Africa require around $250 billion annually to address climate impacts, a figure far beyond the $30 billion received in 2020.
What remains worrisome is the unbordered disposition of polluters at the global north, and in their deliberate refusal to accept historical liabilities, commit to reparatory justice through progressive and sustainable grant, and not loans for climate financing. It is estimated that the region will need an average of $250 billion per year in climate finance between 2020 and 2030, against the party sum of $30 billion it received in 2020, which is about 12% of the amount needed.
The 2023 Climate Inequality Report by the World Inequality Lab reveals that the bottom 50% of the global population bears 75% of climate-related losses, while contributing only 12% to emissions, underscoring the urgent need for action towards climate change mitigation.